Polycystic Ovary Syndrome affects 10% of women. It's the most common female hormone disorder. Living with PCOS can feel like your body is trying to sabotage you. Stubborn weight gain, acne that won't clear, hair in places you don't want it, and thinning where you do. And underneath it all, the gnawing worry about fertility and your long-term health. Most women with PCOS have been told some version of the same story. It's a lifelong condition, take birth control to regulate your periods, maybe Metformin for the insulin resistance, and if you want children someday, prepare for a difficult road. But what if there's more to the story? What if the root cause of PCOS can be addressed, dramatically improving or even reversing the symptoms? Today, I'll share evidence-based strategies that go beyond symptom management to address the underlying cause of PCOS. You'll learn exactly how targeted nutrition changes, specific types of exercise, and other practical steps can transform your hormonal health. Now, before we dive into specific strategies, there are a few key things to understand. Despite its name, PCOS isn't just about cysts on your ovaries. It's a complex hormonal condition with three main features: irregular or absent periods, elevated male hormones called androgen, and ovarian cysts. That said, some women with PCOS don't have cysts at all. Most doctors and medical textbooks still claim that PCOS is irreversible, a lifelong condition you'll just have to manage. They focus on masking symptoms rather than addressing what's actually happening inside your body. But I would argue that the reality is far different. At the center of most PCOS cases is a crucial metabolic problem: insulin resistance. That's right, the same root problem that causes type 2 diabetes. When your body becomes resistant to insulin, your pancreas pumps out more and more insulin to maintain normal blood sugar. With PCOS, this excess insulin then triggers your ovaries to produce too much testosterone. This insulin-driven hormone imbalance creates a dangerous cascade. More than 50% of women with PCOS will develop type 2 diabetes by the age of 40. Your risk of heart disease, sleep apnea, and fatty liver disease also skyrocket. It's really not a problem that you want to accept and just live with. And guess what? We've seen it time after time that when you fix the insulin problem, it's possible to break this cycle. It all starts with androgens. Androgens are male hormones like testosterone. Each woman produces them in small amounts, but in PCOS, these androgens spiral out of control. High insulin levels kick off chain reactions in your body. They mess with your hormones, including something called sex hormone binding globulin, or SHBG. Normally, SHBG acts like a sponge, soaking up excess testosterone in your bloodstream. But when insulin is too high, you produce less SHBG, leaving more testosterone floating freely in your system. At the same time, that insulin tells your ovaries to pump out even more testosterone. It's like pressing the accelerator and removing the brakes all at once. This excess testosterone throws off your normal cycle. Instead of releasing one mature egg each month, your ovaries get stuck with multiple partially developed follicles and ovulation gets disrupted. Now, the traditional medical approach involves birth control pills or anti-androgen medications. These can mask symptoms, but they're like putting a piece of tape over your car's check engine light. The underlying problem is still there. What you really want to do is fix the root problem, right? With PCOS, this means lowering those insulin levels to stop the testosterone overproduction at its source. Now, I've said it already, but I'm going to say it again. One of the most frustrating things is when a doctor acts like there's nothing you can do except take a pill and accept your fate. It's similar to how doctors used to say, once a diabetic, always a diabetic. But now we know that with the right approach, people can achieve biochemical reversal of type 2 diabetes. The same principles can be applied to PCOS. Women who successfully lower their androgens often explain it as one of the most transformative moments in their lives. For many, that means more regular cycles, clearer skin, reduced facial hair growth, regrowth of scalp hair, and even improved fertility. Okay, I can hear you yelling at me now. What can I do about all of this? Let's start with one of the most demoralizing aspects: hair and skin problems. The most frustrating symptoms of PCOS are often what you see in the mirror every day. Excess facial hair, acne that doesn't respond to typical treatments, hair thinning at your temples or your crown. They hit at your confidence, they change how you interact with people, and they can be incredibly destructive. Many women with PCOS spend hours each week fighting these visible markers of what's happening beneath the surface. While you work on the deeper hormonal healing, which we'll get to in a minute, there are a few things that you can do in the meantime. For acne, look beyond typical over-the-counter products. Chemical exfoliants with salicylic acid help clear pores. Products with zinc and niacinamide can regulate oil production. If your acne is severe, a dermatologist might prescribe treatments specifically for hormonal breakouts. Be sure to tell them that you have PCOS. For facial hair, laser treatments provide longer-lasting results than shaving or waxing. They cost more upfront but save time and frustration down the road. For hair thinning, topical minoxidil can slow loss while you address the hormonal drivers. Some find rosemary oil helps too. Research shows it might be as effective as minoxidil for certain types of hair loss. But these are just temporary fixes, so let's talk about how to get deep change happening. First up, the single most powerful tool for balancing hormones: nutrition. Nutrition is the foundation of PCOS management. What you eat directly impacts your insulin levels, which directly impacts your androgen levels. Most women with PCOS have been told to lose weight, but they give this advice without any real guidance on how to do it in a way that addresses hormonal imbalance. Even worse, many doctors still advise people to eat a low-fat, high-carb diet, the exact opposite of what actually helps people with PCOS. Because you're insulin resistant, your body doesn't handle carbohydrates the same way as someone without PCOS. When you eat carbs, especially refined ones like bread, pasta, or sugar, your insulin levels spike higher and stay elevated longer. This is why so many women with PCOS feel hungry all the time, have intense cravings, and struggle to lose weight even on low-calorie diets. It's not about willpower, it's about biochemistry. A 2021 study with over 1,100 women found that dietary approaches focusing on lower carbohydrate intake were especially effective. The researchers specifically noted that women who reduced their carb intake saw better outcomes for restoring regular cycles and improving fertility. This doesn't mean eliminating all carbs. It means being strategic about them. Build your plate around protein. Aim for at least 25 to 30 grams per meal. This could be eggs, chicken, fish, beef, tofu, or tempeh. Protein stabilizes blood sugar and keeps you full. Add plenty of non-starchy vegetables. These provide fiber, vitamins, and minerals without spiking insulin. Fill half of your plate with vegetables like leafy greens, broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, peppers, and mushrooms. Include healthy fats with every meal. Avocado, olive oil, nuts, seeds, and fatty fish contain anti-inflammatory omega-3s and help keep you satisfied. Despite what you might have heard, quality dietary fat doesn't make you fat, but it does help balance hormones. There's a big difference between inflammatory oils like soybean oil, corn oil, or fast food versus nutrient-dense fats like olive oil, avocados, and fatty fish. Focus on those high-quality sources. If you're confused about which cooking oils to use, I've done a detailed video on that too, and I'll leave a link in the description box below. As I mentioned, you want to be really selective with carbs. If you include them, choose whole food sources like sweet potatoes, beans, lentils, quinoa, or fruit. Keep portions modest and pair them with protein and fat to blunt the insulin response. The foods to minimize are the ones that trigger insulin spikes. refined sugar in any form, white flour products like bread, pasta, and crackers, processed foods with hidden sugars, sugary beverages, including fruit juices, and excessive alcohol. Something remarkable happens when people with PCOS shift to a lower carb eating. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology found that reducing carbohydrates significantly lowered testosterone levels within just 8 weeks. Many of the women also reported that their cravings diminished, their energy stabilized, and they no longer felt controlled by food. That 8-week study was amazing, but I want to emphasize that it's not about going on a temporary diet. You really need to find a sustainable way of eating quality food that works for you in the long term. Experiment with new recipe ideas. Use plenty of spices and quality ingredients for things like homemade salad dressings and sauces. Make your own breads and muffins using alternative ingredients like almond flour, pumpkin, and cinnamon. Learn to make kimchi. The possibilities are endless. It can actually become a fun adventure once you start developing your favorite recipes. Your culinary creations will become the source of envy at parties, and as you can see, I personally love experimenting with healthy ingredients. I hope I can inspire for you to give it a go too. Next, the timing of your meals matters too, but before we get to that, are you enjoying this video? If so, please click the like button. It really helps. To see future videos from me, click subscribe and turn notifications on. Okay, next up, you might have heard the conventional advice to eat 5 to 6 small meals throughout the day. The idea that this will keep your metabolism going. However, this advice is a bit outdated and not one size fits all. More recent research suggests that meal timing and spacing, like time-restricted eating or intermittent fasting, might actually be more beneficial for improving insulin sensitivity in people with PCOS than constant grazing. In my experience, people who eat fewer, well-balanced meals with protein, fat, and fiber can lead to far better outcomes. When you eat constantly throughout the day, your insulin levels stay elevated. Your body never gets a break from the hormone that's causing so many of your problems in the first place. Following that idea, we end up intermittent fasting, which can have even greater results. In a 2021 research in China conducted a study with women who had PCOS. They had them eat all their food within an 8-hour window each day, fasting for the other 16 hours. After just 5 weeks, the results were remarkable. The women lost weight, especially around their bellies, their insulin levels dropped significantly, their testosterone levels decreased. Most impressively, 73% of the women regained a normal menstruation cycle during that short trial. Think about that. Nearly 3/4 of the women started ovulating normally just by changing when they ate, not even necessarily what they ate. Intermittent fasting works so well for PCOS because it directly targets insulin resistance. During fasting periods, insulin levels drop, allowing your cells to become more sensitive to insulin. When you eat again, your body processes these nutrients more efficiently. You don't need to jump straight into a 16-hour fast, though. Start with something a little simpler. Try to go 12 hours between dinner and breakfast. This might mean finishing dinner by 7 p.m. and not eating again until 7 a.m. Many women find this completely manageable. But from there, you can extend your fasting window with gradual intensity. Maybe push breakfast to 9 a.m., creating a 14-hour fast. Some women eventually find that they do best with just 2 meals a day, perhaps just lunch and dinner. The key is to find out what works for your body and your lifestyle. During your eating window, focus on those nutrient-dense meals we just discussed: protein, healthy fats, and non-starchy vegetables. This combination helps you stay full for longer and supports your hormonal health. A few important notes about fasting. Stay well hydrated during fasting periods. Water, herbal tea, and black coffee are all fine. Listen to your body. If you're feeling weak, dizzy, or excessively hungry, you might need to just adjust your approach. because not everyone thrives on the same fasting schedule, and that's okay. Some women find that their fasting tolerance varies throughout their menstruation cycle. You might do great with a 16-hour fast during the first half of your cycle, but need to eat more frequently during the second half. That's completely fine. Combining intermittent fasting with a low-carb approach is particularly powerful for PCOS. Together, they create a 1-2 punch against insulin resistance. Next, let's talk about the third pillar of PCOS management, the right kind of physical activity. Building muscle is crucial for women with PCOS, yet it's the one thing most women tend to avoid. Many women stick to cardio, fearing that weight training will make them bulky. This is a huge mistake. Muscle tissue is incredibly metabolically active. It's essentially a glucose disposal system that works 24/7 to regulate your blood sugar and improve insulin sensitivity. For PCOS specifically, more muscle means your body can handle carbohydrates better, leading to lower insulin levels, which directly translates to lower testosterone. And the benefits extend far beyond PCOS. Muscle preservation is one of the most important factors in healthy aging, bone density, and maintaining independence later in life. If you've been doing hours of cardio trying to manage your PCOS symptoms and not seeing results, you're not alone. Many women push themselves through excessive cardio, hoping to lose weight and balance their hormones, only to feel exhausted, hungry, and discouraged. Too much high-intensity exercise increases stress hormones like cortisol, which can worsen insulin resistance and make your symptoms worse, not better. You don't need to become a bodybuilder, but muscle is important. Just 2 to 3 sessions per week of basic strength exercises can make a huge difference. Focus on compound movements that work multiple muscle groups at once: squats, lunges, push-ups, rows, and deadlifts. Ideally, find a trainer who's experienced with PCOS and develop a personalized plan with them. Next, you could be doing everything right with your diet and exercise, but if you're sleeping poorly or living with chronic stress, your PCOS symptoms might persist. These often overlooked factors are critical pieces of the puzzle. Let's start with sleep. Women with PCOS are significantly more likely to have sleep problems. One large study found that PCOS increased the risk of insomnia by about 50%. Many women with PCOS have undiagnosed sleep apnea, even if they're not overweight. Poor sleep directly worsens insulin resistance. Just one night of inadequate sleep can make your cells temporarily more insulin resistant. When this happens chronically, it becomes a major driver of hormonal imbalance. Sleep deprivation also disrupts your hunger hormones. It increases ghrelin, which stimulates appetite, and decreases leptin, which signals fullness. This creates a perfect storm for cravings and overeating, especially of a carb-heavy comfort food. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night. This isn't a luxury, it's a necessity for hormonal balance. Create a consistent sleep schedule, going to bed and waking up at roughly the same times, even on weekends. Your body thrives on routine. Make your bedroom a sleep sanctuary. Cool, dark, and quiet. Blackout curtains, white noise machines, or earplugs can help if your environment is challenging. Limit blue light exposure in the evening. The light from phones, tablets, and computers suppresses melatonin, your sleep hormone. If you do nothing else, stop using devices at least an hour before bed. It's super important. If you suspect sleep apnea, signs include loud snoring, gasping during sleep, or waking up still tired. Talk to your doctor about a sleep study. Now let's talk about stress. Living with PCOS is stressful enough, but when you add in work pressures, relationship challenges, and other life demands, it can all start to snowball. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, your primary stress hormone. High cortisol directly increases insulin resistance and can stimulate your adrenal glands to produce more androgens, worsening PCOS symptoms. Studies show women with PCOS often have higher baseline cortisol levels, suggesting their stress response systems are already working overtime. So, beyond sleeping well, sit down and think about other areas of stress. Brainstorm whether there's any challenges you can make to lessen that stress. Next, I'm hesitant to recommend medications and supplements, but there are a few that can help in combination with some lifestyle factors. While lifestyle changes form the foundation of PCOS management, certain supplements and medications can provide additional support. Let's start with evidence-based supplements. Inositol is probably the most well-researched supplement for PCOS. It comes in two forms, myo-inositol and D-cryo-inositol, which act as secondary messengers in insulin signaling pathways. A meta-analysis of multiple studies found that inositol significantly reduced fasting insulin and improved insulin resistance in women with PCOS. Many women also experience reductions in testosterone and improvements in ovulation. The typical dose is 4 grams daily, often divided into 2-gram doses. Some formulations combine myo-inositol and D-cryo-inositol in a 40:1 ratio, which mimics their natural ratio in the body. Vitamin D is another important consideration. Many women with PCOS are deficient in vitamin D, and low levels are associated with worse insulin resistance and more irregular cycles. If you haven't had your vitamin D checked recently, it's worth asking your doctor for a 250 HD test. Other supplements with some evidence for PCOS include N-acetylcysteine, omega-3, and berberine. Spearmint tea is a natural addition that can help. Studies show drinking 2 cups daily can decrease free testosterone and improve unwanted hair growth over time. In terms of heavier medications, Metformin is the most commonly prescribed medication for PCOS. It works by reducing liver glucose production and improving insulin sensitivity. It tends to work, but it does have some nasty side effects. For many women, Metformin serves as a bridge, helping manage symptoms while making lifestyle changes, with the goal of eventually reducing or eliminating the need for medication. Likewise, anti-androgen medications like spironolactone are sometimes prescribed for persistent hair and skin symptoms. They block androgen receptors, reducing the effects of testosterone on your skin and hair follicles. They're not great because they only mask symptoms rather than addressing the root causes, but can provide relief while you work on deeper solutions. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground, so let's pull everything together. The key is to focus on nutrient-dense whole foods, reduce refined carbs and sugars. Combined with intermittent fasting, this can make a huge difference. Add in some strength training if you don't already, and make sure you're getting good sleep and doing whatever you can to reduce stress. Next, there are a few particularly fantastic drinks for getting glucose and insulin under control. For those, watch our video on 10 amazing anti-diabetic drinks. I've also linked other useful videos in the description box. Remember to click like and subscribe.